But because we've been put in this box of this is how your life is supposed to look, a lot of us feel trapped. Hello. There is something that I really wanted to talk to you for a while. I just had it at the back of my head, and I thought that I really want to run this by you. The topic might be slightly controversial, but I don't care. This might as well be a topic or debate starter for the comments below. But I'm just gonna say what I think. So I want to talk to you about something that we lovingly call a midlife crisis. Because truly, what really is a midlife crisis? And now that I am in my late 40s, and at some point I actually thought that myself was experiencing this, I gave it a little bit of a thought. And I came to a conclusion, which I'm going to share with you today. When we think about midlife crisis, we have this stereotype, this vision of a middle-aged guy, maybe leaving his family, buying a luxurious car, finding himself a 20 years younger girlfriend. I don't know, all this really weird and very stereotypical concept that we have of that. But the truth is that this is a stereotype. And I do believe that at certain point in our life, we all go through it. Maybe coincidentally, very often happens in our 40s, but maybe that is not a coincidence at all. So a few things happen when you reach a certain age. Most of all, you realize the brutal passage of time. The time is not standing still, and when we were teenagers or when we were in our 20s, we thought we have infinitive amount of time to do certain things or any things that we really want to do in our life. And it is true, we had all this time in the world to make all the mistakes and try different things, and everything was really acceptable because you're just young and you just want to test things out and choose in the end something that fits you. That fits your idea of life. And then the time passes, and one day you wake up and you are 40 or 45 or 47, and you are asking yourself, what happened? What happened to us? What happened to me? And then you start thinking, maybe you're remembering yourself and regretting that you were wasting so much energy on the petty things, on things that don't really matter. And you're saying to yourself, why did I even worry about this? Those things don't matter at all. Maybe you regret that you didn't do certain things when you could do them. Maybe you regret not taking that gap year. Maybe you regret not traveling. Maybe you regret not taking risks and playing it safe and think that now maybe it's too late to do that. Or maybe you regret making decisions, certain decisions in your life that were based on what society or friends or family wanted from you, and it was never really what you wanted, and you wish you were a little bit more true yourself. And as we reach a certain age, we then realize that the time was not standing still, the time was moving, and you wake up one day and you have wrinkles, gray hair, your body aches in places that you didn't know it could ache, or you never really felt it before. Suddenly after running to the bus, you feel embarrassed because it takes you 15 minutes to actually catch your breath. Or you realize that every morning when you wake up, you actually feel pain somewhere in your body. And then you get some strange illnesses that are kind of age related. And then your doctor tells you that your cholesterol is high or you have a high blood pressure. And suddenly you're asking yourself, what happened to me? Where is this 20 or 25 years old that wanted to conquer the world? Where is this person that didn't have to dye their hair every 3 weeks because they're totally grey? What happened to me? And then you think to yourself, hold on, I'm still young, I'm still fit, I'm still strong, I still have 2 hands, 2 legs, they work relatively well. I have a brain that also works quite well. Maybe I should not be wasting any more time. And at the same time, you kind of stopped caring as much for what other people think of you because you realize that it doesn't really matter. majority of the people don't care about you anyway. They just go about their life and do their thing. And really, they don't think about you that much. And those that do have a problem or judge you in any way, it stems from their own insecurity anyway. So it doesn't really matter. And the people that really care about you, that are really close to your heart, those wouldn't mind anyway. So you stop caring about what all those people would say. And it kind of frees you to do some crazy stuff. So I would say that the midlife crisis is really not a crisis. It's just coming back to yourself. It's realizing what is it that you really want to do. Maybe learning more and more who you truly are and what you need in your life. And maybe it's realizing that self-care is actually quite important, because you cannot truly give love if you don't really love yourself. You cannot really truly care for another person if you really don't care about yourself. You think you might, but more than caring for them, you're actually sacrificing yourself for them. And then in the meantime, you also realize that a lot of decisions that you've made in your life were not truly your decisions. There maybe were some decisions that you were about to make, but you neglected them or you abandoned them in order to fit in to the vision of you that others had. And then you realize that you're not really living your own life, that you live other people's life. Because the truth is that for a lot of us, it is the case, sadly, often for most of our lives. And yes, if you are watching it from the first world country, we are very much privileged, because there is a lot of people out there in the world that don't have the luxury of even thinking about it, even considering what the midlife crisis is. But you do. You have the privilege, so why wasting it? And don't get me wrong, okay? I want to make it straight. I am not saying that you need to leave everything now and leave your family and go into the wild. No, this is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about coming back to yourself. And people that do those crazy things are the people that neglected themselves. That's my opinion, at least. That neglected themselves inside, to the point where this bottle, this glass just overflown, and they just cannot do it any other way. I am absolutely not telling you that you need to now leave everything that you have and go traveling and just do some crazy stuff, because this manifests differently for everybody. The same way, like we are different. Every single one of us is different. So who said that we all need to have exactly the same path? And this doesn't have to manifest the same way for every single one of us. I'm a Gen Xer. My idea of successful life was to get an education, get a good career, make decent money, find a guy, have kids, get a house, get a car, and then, the regular stuff. Maybe you get a loan, you get a credit card, and you just work until you retire, and then maybe you have enough strength or health to enjoy your life. And it was just given. This is how we were supposed to, and we still are supposed to live. And don't you think it's really weird that given how different we are as a people, we are being asked to live exactly the same type of life? That is a bit strange, but that's probably a topic for a completely different video. So, your path might be different. Your dreams, your needs, who you are supposed to become might be completely different from who your friend was supposed to become. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is better or worse. It is just different. But because we've been put in this box of this is how your life is supposed to look, a lot of us feel trapped. And when we're still young and we are allowed to do crazy things, then we kind of a little bit more resistant to regret. But then suddenly you find yourself in a situation that you never really wanted to find yourself. And please don't get me wrong. I am not saying in no way that having a family, loving family and kids is not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to do what makes us happy. And the way we are as human beings, love and social connections and family is what makes us happy. It makes me happy as well. It makes me happy to be close to my family and have people around me that care for me and that I care for them. This is the most important thing for us as people. But we can all do this different ways. Only because for you, this is how you want your life to look, it doesn't mean that it has to look exactly the same way for somebody else. So when we find ourselves suddenly in our 40s inside of somebody else's life, not the life that we always wanted to have, maybe we go through a crisis. Maybe we go through a middle life crisis. But I really don't like how we call this. I don't think we should call it this way. I think we should call it coming back to yourself. And like I said, it can manifest in so many ways. The same ways like your life can be different, should be different than everybody else's. Your coming back to yourself should be different as well. For some people, like me, is quitting their job and going traveling around the world and starting a YouTube channel. For some other people, it's taking out that hobby that they've always dreamed of. Maybe you've always wanted to write that book. Maybe you wanted to take painting classes. Maybe as you grow a little bit wiser, this corporate job just hurts so much more than it did 10 years ago, but you feel stuck. You feel like this is the only thing you could do. You feel like maybe if you change the company, it's going to be different. Trust me, it never is. I've been there. It's just different. It's new and fresh for first few months, but if it was hurting because it was not for you, it will hurt again. So maybe you should listen to this. Don't wait for this glass, for this jar to overflow. Don't wait until the moment when you feel like you're going crazy and you are about to make some crazy decisions. Take action when you feel that the life you're living is not what you really want to do. It's not the life that you really want to live. Start a side hustle. Start a side hustle that maybe one day it will become your full-time job or full-time business. Start traveling. So many people travel with children. I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy to travel. The travel is expensive. The travel is very expensive for majority of us. But you want to go and see that country? Find a way. You want to move out? You want to change the city? You're not happy to live in a city? You want to move to the village? You want to move to the countryside? You want to move to another country? This can be done as well. Everything can be done. Slowly. But it can. Regardless your circumstances. Because the older we get, the better we see who we really are. If only we allow ourselves. So truly, the conclusion that I came to was that this midlife crisis is really a symptom. It's not just something that happens to us. It's a symptom of neglect, years-long neglect of taking care of ourselves, of taking care of our dreams, of giving up on our dreams. And yes, I hear you saying, okay, I know, I can hear this. It's not too late. It is never too late. Your circumstances are different than they were 20 years ago. You have many more commitments. Many more commitments. Some of them seem like impossible to get out, and some of them you just don't want to leave. There are people around you that you care about, and you don't want to hurt those people, and you want those people around you. So suddenly you found yourself in a situation when the change might be impossible, but it is possible. It just might be different than it would be 20 years ago, but it is still different. Any change, any move towards becoming who you always wanted to be is a positive change. So no, it's never too late. There are people out there that turn their life around in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s. And what is the sad thing? That for a lot of us, this midlife crisis is a silent illness. We don't do anything about it. We just feel the pain inside. We don't buy flashy cars and, go traveling around the world. We don't do anything about it. We suffer inside. Maybe you think you're going crazy, or maybe you start blaming yourself for suddenly wanting other things. You say, like, how can I even want these other things? I have this amazing life. So we blaming ourselves, we dismiss it, and then we suffer in silence without even realizing that we're suffering. And it takes the toll on the rest of our life, and takes a toll on very often those around us. Because if you are miserable inside, how easy it is to make others happy. So the really good comparison here would be to the modern medicine. You have a headache, you take a painkiller. You take a painkiller and the headache goes away. But how often do you think, why do you have a headache? What is the reason for the headache? These days, we're just taking medicine to numb the symptoms. We never really think about the reason, where the symptoms come from. Because only when we look at the reason for the symptom, we can truly heal the illness. And it's the same with what's happening in our heart, and the same with what we call a midlife crisis. The symptom of this crisis is, like I said, the neglect of our dreams, the neglect of who we are inside. So the sooner you start revealing to yourself who you are, what you want, who you want to be surrounded by, what do you want to do for a living, why we think that we need to make this decision when we're 18. Why do we think we need to make this decision when we're 20? When I remember myself when I was 20, oh my God, me back then should not have made any decision about my life whatsoever. Maybe 40s is the new 20s. Maybe 40s is the time when you should be making decisions. Maybe it's the time when you should go and study sociology like you always wanted. Or maybe it's the time when you should take a hobby of, I don't know, origami or whatever that you've always wanted, because maybe now you truly know who you want to be and what you want to do. Maybe the 40s is the new 20. And maybe there's no such a thing as midlife crisis. It's just coming back to yourself. Because as much as we realize the passage of time, and now we may be somewhere in the middle, one day we're going to be old. And then, who knows? So now, while you are here, why not making the most of it? And like I said, it can be just this little step. This little step of doing something that you love. Try it. Try to make this little thing and see how it makes you feel. And let me know. Please let me know what you think about this. Please leave a comment under this video. I really want to know what you think about it. If you don't agree with me, if you think that everything as I said is BS, let me know. It's really nice to have a debate and really nice to have a conversation. And please subscribe if this is something you enjoy. I talk a lot about travel, moving to another countries, and just making your dreams come true a little bit later in your life. So if this is something that you would like to participate in, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. So I will leave you with that. Listen to what your heart is whispering to you, maybe before it starts shouting. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.